everyone have a raffle ticket?
Not yet.
Where do we go?
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
All right, so he's gonna come in.
Everyone raise your hand, and I will give you a ticket.
Yes,
So
there you go. Do it that way.
Yes.
All right, so,
Final question.
these are not questions. All right, so at the end of the panel, our friend Sue Blue over here is going to pick the winner, and who's going to select one of these YOLO Park model kits.
How fun is that?
Yeah, it's already recorded.
So we have
Yeah.
Bumblebee, Optimus Primal, and Optimus Prime. These are the model kits, and they are from the Transformers Rise of the Beast movie, and these are courtesy of YOLO Park.
Wow.
All right. And as we're distributing the tickets, we're going to go ahead and get started with the panels. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Susan Blue.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good. Hands up, still getting raffle tickets?
Yep.
So, I'm the original Arcee. And I was lucky enough to be asked to dialogue direct all of the Beast Wars. So I went to Canada, and my friends Scott McNeil and Gary Chalk and all of the guys, I had the great pleasure of directing. So I'm a dialogue director and also a voiceover actor. And I thought what I would do is leave it open to questions. How I got into the business, I'll just give you a little background. How I got into the business was I was an on-camera actor, and my agent, can you see me back there? And my agent called me and said, years and years and years ago, I didn't even know what a voiceover was. And so he said, if you were the Pillsbury Doughgirl, how would you sound? And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, say this line for me, and then give me a little giggle at the end. So I said, hi, I'm Poppy, the Pillsbury Doughgirl. Well, they had spent a lot of time auditioning people. It was Pillsbury, and they had auditioned people in New York, in California, in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, in Minneapolis, all over the country. And I think I came in right at the right time. I think people were exhausted from Leo Burnett auditioning, and I got the job. So that's really what started my voiceover career. And then I auditioned for a lot of shows at Hanna-Barbera, which I got Nanny Smurf and the Smurfs, and Flim Flam and Scooby-Doo, and a bunch of other stuff. And so that's really how I started my voiceover career. And from that, I auditioned for Wally Burr for Transformers and got the part of Arcee. So that's why I'm sitting here in front of you guys, is that many years ago, and Transformers Generation 1, I think, is the best.
Yeah.
And I think Beast Wars is also phenomenal. And so I thought what I would do is open it up to questions about me and questions about you. Yes?
Since you obviously have worn a lot of hats, before, in front of, behind the camera, or the microphone, what do you prefer?
You know, it's funny, that question's been asked of me, He asked, what do I prefer, dialogue directing or acting? There's two different hats, and I really, I love acting so much and creating characters with my voice, but I also love directing, so it's kind of apples and oranges. When I have the director's hat on, I absolutely love that, and when I have the actor's hat, I love that. So it's a 50-50 proposition. Yes?
Thank you. How does directing make you a better voice actor?
I think voice acting made me a better director. And directing made me a better voice actor. I think it goes both ways. I have worked with every director in town, and I kind of learned what to do, and I also learned what not to do. And I was able to kind of meld them both. I have huge respect for actors, and a lot of dialogue directors were never actors. So I knew that that being an actor, I would give a tremendous amount of respect to actors in the first place, and I could work with producers and the story editors and the writers on what they wanted. So my purpose as a director was to fulfill what they wanted, and also keep the actors smiling, having to do several takes in a row. Yes, back there?
Yes, when you first auditioned for the role for the movie, right, did you know that you were also going to have a recurring role in the series?
No, I had no idea. It was absolutely thrilling to get the movie because, I got to act with, my God, Orson Welles and Judd and Nelson and all these great voiceover actors. But Leonard Nimoy, I years later directed a series for Steven Spielberg called Invasion America, and it ran on the WB for it was 13 episodes. And Leonard Nimoy was one of my cast members, so that was kind of cool. Did I answer your question, or did I go off on a tangent?
Yeah, I do have a follow-up question.
Yes?
In getting into that, back in the 80s, of course, there wasn't this huge fandom, right? We were all kids, this first kind of thing. When did you first become aware that there was something beyond the TV show as it pertains to the fandom?
Oh, you mean for Transformers?
Yes.
For me, it was years later that I realized, I think it was the first BotCon, years and years ago, where I went, oh my gosh, people love this show. And I would get a lot of mail, and photographs and things that I would send back in the mail, but I had no idea that it was the phenomenon that it became, and it is today. I mean, it's amazing, and I just hope it lives on and on and on and on, and that I live with it. Yes?
Okay, so you got questions, I'm gonna come to you with a mic. I don't know if everyone can hear, so here we go.
When they first asked you to audition for Arcee, did they give you, or what kind of voice direction did they give you? Were they like, we want you to be a warm character, or a trooper character, or be like Princess Leia? Or did they just go, do the lines and see what you turn out?
No, I was Wally Burr, who is no longer with us, who directed the movie, dialogue directed the film, and dialogue directed all of the beginning Transformers, the seasons. I walked in and, I was able to see a breakdown, and, he said it's the only female in the show, in the whole movie. I went, well, I want it. And, she was strong, It was described to me that she was strong, yet she was vulnerable. She had to hold her own. She had to be likable because all the other robots had to like her. All the Transformers had to like her. And so that's kind of the basis that I went on. I know that it was basically my own voice, but they put a little treatment on all of our voices, I think, in post. But so I had a much longer monologue in the audition than I certainly did in the movie. Yes. Yes. Think about it and we'll come back to you.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
How difficult was it directing the Beast Wars cast? Like, was it difficult or easy directing those people?
It was unbelievably easy. They are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful actors. You know, Scott McNeil gave me so much. Gary Chalk gave me so much. David Soboleff, who's not here, gave me so much. You know, the actors, I flew up every other week from LA to Vancouver to direct them. And it was like directing a party. I mean, these guys they were great, they were talented. You know, we respected one another. It was really a wonderful communication and a wonderful time that I had with these guys. They were great. They were pliable. You know, I'd say, why don't you try this? They go, yeah, that's great. Let me try that. And we found the voices, you know, together for the characters. It was great. It was easy.
Okay, I have a question now.
Did you remember it?
Yeah.
Good.
When you voiced Arcee, were you aware of, did you have any input of the design, or were you aware of it?
Yeah. I had a picture of the character. Like I told this gentleman, I had a breakdown of you know, she was strong and full of heart. Full of heart, I remember part of it was. So I, you know, basically came from my own experiences in life as, you know, having to overcome my height and being, finding the strength within me. Because voices are not created from here up. They're created from here down. You create the heart and the soul and the characteristics of the character, and the voice will come.
Thank you for coming here, first of all.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Two questions. The first is, were there any lessons that you learned from Wally Burr when he directed you that you applied when you directed cast of Beast Wars?
Yeah, all the good stuff. All the good stuff I learned from him. I mean, I learned to really homework a storyboard. The storyboard is like a comic book. You know, it's a big wide white thing with all of the lines and all of the character action. So, and he had that all marked up, and so I would have that at home before I met with the actors, and I would go through that and study it and do all my notes. I mean, I overstudied. I prepared to the point of really preparing because, you know, that was incredibly, if I didn't have a storyboard, I'd have a script with all the action. So I would homework that, which I call homeworking that. I learned that from him. Wally was an interesting character because as good a director as he was, he heard a line a certain way. God rest you, Wally, I'm going to tell this. He would hear a line a certain way, and he would go, okay, so I want you to say it strong. So I'd go, come on, guys, let's go. He'd go, no, just like this. Come on, guys, let's go. And I'd go, come on, guys, let's go. He'd go, no, just like this. Come on, guys. Well, he loved to give readings to the actors. And, I was fine with it. But some of the actors, just did not like when Wally would give them what is called a line reading. And, Arcee would be going down a hill and, for instance, and go, come on, get down here, whatever. And he would say, no, do it just like this. And what would happen is the sessions would last 8 hours. And so what happened, because of Wally, and I think a few of the other directors in town, is the actors made up a contract, the voice actors, an animated contract, that we would do a half-hour session in 4 hours. We had 4 hours, which cut down on Wally's work. But yeah, I learned the good things, and I learned not to give line readings. But I have also given line readings to actors. It works.
You not only voiced Arcee, you also voiced Galadriel in Visionary.
I did.
Yeah, one of my favorite shows as well.
Thank you.
And Galadriel had an arch nemesis in Fiorina. Do you wish that Arcee would have had an arch nemesis in Decepticon, like female?
Totally. I would have loved that. I would have loved that. Yeah. I haven't seen, the new stuff. Does she have an arch enemy now?
Probably in the comics.
Sometimes.
A woman arch enemy?
Yeah,
A female?
sometimes.
Arachnid.
Arachnid's one
Yeah, arachnid.
Arachnid.
in the Prime cartoon.
And I'm not going to watch it because I'm not in it.
You directed some of it.
Hasbro comes to you your house one day and says, we're going to greenlit whatever Transformers product you want, your dream project, whatever. What would it be?
My dream project,
If it was like a dream Transformers project, like you have maybe a script that's been sitting in your head for years, or like on your desk, you never think it could get the light of day, or whatever. They say, we'll make whatever you want. Here's the large sack with the $sign on it, whatever. What project would it be?
I think it would be an entire series of female robots that turn into really cool cars. Back to, the original. I'd have strong men in it also, but I'd have really strong women in it. And a lot of them.
Yeah.
We'll be discussing the script after this.
So, you were also voice directed for Transformers Arcee, and also had the opportunity to reprise the role as Arcee, which was phenomenal.
Thank you.
And, because it was great to hear her.
It was pretty dramatic too, wasn't it?
Yeah, her whole return.
Oh, yes.
But both yourself and some of the other voice actors, including John Machida, got to reprise their roles. Was there any input into bringing, the original cast back during animated, including yourself to reprise the roles? Or?
Yeah, well, when I was directing it, I had a couple of the guys, the story editors and the animators, come to me and say, we want to bring you back in the show. And I said, well, I would love that. And I knew that they were going to write again for Blur. And so we talked about, I said, you've got to bring John back.
Yeah.
for this, for sure. So that's how that kind of evolved, is it was their idea to bring me, and of course, then when I got in the booth, they directed me, and that was fun. That was lots of fun.
When you were voicing Arcee, did
Yes.
you have any particular inspirations or influences that helped you create the voice of the character?
Yeah, you know, I looked at a lot of movies and television shows that had strong women in it, and I would study those. One of my, you probably don't even remember her at all, but one of my favorite characters of all time was an actress named Barbara Stanwyck. And so I really studied her for the strength of the character, and she was so likable and yet so ballsy and strong. And so I got a lot of my feeling of the character from Barbara Stanwyck. Isn't that funny? You didn't even know that. And you know what else too? What's your name?
Miles.
Miles. I also would look at, I watch a lot of films, and I'm a TV junkie. I love my television shows, and I would study even John Wayne and Kirk Douglas, and to get a lot of that strength to be able to put that into Arcee and some of the stronger roles that I played.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Anytime you were directing a Transformers series, did you feel any outside influence or pressure from Hasbro as to how they wanted the characters or the story to be, or was it just
None. They were so wonderful to me, and they were so wonderful to the artists, the animators, the writers. By the time the script got to me, and when they heard a few of the dialogue tracks, they really let us do what we do best. They loved how we were creating it. So they were great to us.
Nice, great, thank you.
I'll work my way back, and then I'll work my way forward. And remember, one question per person, please. Until we have time, I'll come back to you.
Do any of you know how I started my career in directing?
Was that Ninja Turtles? Or?
How many don't know? Oh, good. I got to tell this story.
Please do.
So I had been voicing characters with Warner Brothers, Hanna-Barbera, Disney, and there was a thing inside of me that so wanted to direct. I wanted to conduct. I wanted to direct. And of course, that meant going in front of the glass, directing all of the people that I had been in back of the glass with, which I never had trouble with. They were all really respectful and gave me the opportunity to show them that I could do this. But every other director in town had turned this particular show down. They said, what a stupid name, and I begged every producer in town to direct, and they all went, no, you just stay right where you are. You're needed as a voiceover actor. So finally, I had this guy, a very influential gentleman named Fred Wolf, call me up, and he said, well, every other director has turned this down. I hear you want to direct. I said, I'd love to direct. He said, okay, well, I'm going to pay this amount of money to you. Nothing, practically. And I went, I'll do it. He said, well, it's only 5 episodes that we're going to do, and it's a little show called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that started my directing career, and I directed that show for 7 years. I think it's on now. I'm no longer directing the brand new one over Cartoon Network, but But yeah, I had a long run at that.
Did they start paying you better?
Much better.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Hi. So, quick question for you. It sounds like you have a real passion for both voice acting and directing. And I know you have a published book out, I think it's called Voiceover.
It's called Word of Mouth.
Word of Mouth, thank you. I'm curious what some of your pros and cons about doing either both voice acting or directing work.
You know, I never had really any cons about directing, except that, you know, some of the other directors were mad at me for directing because I took work away from them. So that was kind of tough, but then that would go away. But there were some shows for acting that I missed out on because they didn't want to cast me in because you're a dialogue director now. But that all came around again. But in my shows that I direct, other than the producers bringing me back as Arcee, I would not direct, I would not cast myself in shows that I directed. I love my women actresses, and I would even have producers go, why don't you do that role? And I go, nope, I want to bring another, a woman actress in on this role. I've got a job, and there's not enough work for women. There's a lot more work for women now, but when I started out directing, there really wasn't. So I ethically made it a point not to cast myself in shows that I directed.
I have a question now.
Yes, sir.
So, you spoke about your book. Is your book available for purchase at your table today?
You know what? I should have brought some copies. Huh? I didn't even think about it. I know that you can look it up. I don't even know if it's still selling on Amazon, but it's called Word of Mouth.
It is Word of Mouth, a guide to commercial voiceover.
And animation excellence?
Voiceover excellence. Yeah, here it is. It is actually on Amazon.
Is it a third copy of it? Was it?
It's a revised edition?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. $16. So, you know.
Hey, I wish I had brought
Amazon,
them.
yeah.
I wish I had brought a bunch. I would have practically given them away. I have a garage full.
Just remember for next time.
I will.
Without giving too much away of the book, can you speak to certain aspects of what you have in the book, what you talk about in the book, so just to give us a little sneak preview?
Sure. A lot of it covers commercial work, doing the voiceover behind a car commercial or a makeup commercial, so I have some different kinds of exercises in there that will help you. I have advice in there, how to get an agent, how to make a demo, and there's a whole big chapter. I wish I could do a whole book now on animation, but there's a chapter in there also on animation, where I talk about how to create a character. You don't create the character from the voice. I mean, doesn't it make sense that this is 10% of us as a human being? This is the voice box, and it's. I used to do an exercise, actually just doing the voice. Maybe I'll do it for you now. I haven't done it in years. It's the different placements, and then I'll do another exercise for you. But I talk about it in the book that, to use that 10%, because you can also create a character by the voice, but remember, guys, you've got to create the heart and the soul of the character. You cannot just do voices in our face. It's not going to work because you don't have a legit, that's why AI is not going to work because they don't have a heart, soul to the character. Here's the placement, I call them placement exercises. Hello! Hello, it's coming from the top of my head. Now you can create a character. What if I want to do like a Julia Childs? Well, you see how I kind of put a little bit of glass of wine in her hand, you know, and the excitement about doing a braised pigeon. Okay. The next sound is the leading lady in an animation piece, leading young lady. Hello, hello. It's the sound that comes out through the eyes. It's bright. Hello. And you want to add some attitude. I'm very happy. And as you can see, I'm a little hoarse today. We just got back from London and a little jet lagged, you know, but I lost my voice a little bit. But the next sound is hello, the nasal sound. You know, this is like really good for nerds. And, you know, kind of little gremlins and shy little gremlins and then the next sound is the mouth sound. You know, hello, yes, you've heard this character. The next placement sound is in the back of the throat. Hello, hello, hello. That can rip your voice out if you don't know how to do it. The next sound is the chest sound. Hello, hello. You hear that round kind of sound. The next sound is the diaphragm. Hello. This is really great for villainesses. Hello. Now, you take the nasal sound, hello, add it to the throat sound, and you got like a bad, snidey kind of character, right? So those are the placements, the voice placements. Aren't those fun to do? And so we talk about those in the book, but it gives you, you know, it really exercises the palate of the vocal cords. I used to do an aging exercise.
My personal favorite.
Your personal favorite? Because you have to age the character. Am I going to get, if I come in front, am I going to get feedback?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Come on down.
I talk about too with the microphone because that we're always talking to someone. You know, if you're going to tell them a secret, you're going to come very close into the mic. And if you're going to be a little louder and you're going to yell at that person, you back way off. So we've got a little mic technique in the book. But here's the aging exercise. And then if this kind of helps increase all the aptitudes of your characters. It's the baby. I'm 3 years old, and I love my mommy and daddy. Hi, I'm 6 years old, and I like to climb trees. Well, I'm 10 years old, and I want to go out and play some baseball. I'm a tomboy. Well, I'm 13. I kind of know what I want to do. I'm kind of a fun teenager. I don't know if I'll try out as a cheerleader, but hey, ooh, did you notice that cute boy over there? Well, I'm 25 now, and I've graduated from college, and I kind of know what I want to do in life. Hi. Well, I'm 40, and I find the work that I've been doing incredibly full of heart and really loving it. Well, I'm 55 years old, and I think it's time that I had more fun. I still have a few more years left, but I'm getting up there. Well, I'm 75 years old, and I just love being retired. It's a great feeling for me.
Well, I guess you could say I'm ancient. I can't remember how old I am, or what am I doing here? Well, I still love life.
Thank you, guys. So we come into the world without teeth?
And we do full circle. We die without teeth.
Well, some of us don't. So wow, I had no idea I was going to do that today, but that was fun. Exercising the old chops. Any other questions?
So, we have time for a few more. So let's, if you can stand so she can see you.
Hello, Sue.
Hi.
You did a fantastic job with Beast Wars. So there was one line in Beast Wars which completely obliterated fandom and transformed our understanding of Transformers. And that was when Rat Trap went, my great aunt Arcee. And then there's lineages now, and there's aunts, there's uncles, and just completely wrapped up a whole lot of stuff in fandom theories. I was wondering if when that line was created, you had an input in it. If you had it was this will just be a nice kind of jokey kind of thing, or if you had any idea that it would, you would run with it the way they have.
Yeah, I knew that people would run with that because it was a whole new kind of information, and I didn't have any input in creating the line, but I thought it was great when they did it, and it became a big thing. I even thought it was a big thing. Yes.
Hi, Sue. My name's Tony. What has been the influence of radio on your work?
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, I love, I used to always love to hear the DJs, in radio. I also, when I was putting together my very first demo tape, and I hadn't done any commercials at that point, I took commercials off the radio, and I would kind of rewrite them so that I wasn't stealing anything. And so I would listen to the radio incessantly for ads. And I'd write that down, and then I went to a guy and we did a demo tape. And I was so pleased after years that my demo tape was officially stuff I had done. It's like doing your resume. Your first resume, I don't know if it's totally honest or not, but it's great when you get the last line off your resume. Who's the representative in Congress right now who's totally lied on his resume? Santos.
Oh, yeah. George Santos.
Yeah, I've never been a George Santos, but I on my demo tape I had to make up everything because I didn't have anything, and of course that's how all of us started in the business. Maybe George Santos should have gotten into voiceovers.
I think it's fair to say that when Transformers was created, you were not in their target demographic, but you've been with it for so long. What do you think is the appeal? Why are we still here talking about really what started as a toy line aimed at 10-year-old boys?
I don't know why I do. I just, first of all, the movie is so well done.
Yes.
We saw it a couple weeks ago in London again. I've seen it several times, and the animation, the music, the song, the way the Transformers would transform, and I had no idea that it was going to be as big a toy as it was. Well, I guess I did know when I see them transform and stuff. I knew, is this like a huge 2-hour commercial or an hour and 35? I don't know how long is the movie? I'm not sure.
90 minutes. I think it's 85 minutes.
85 minutes? But, yeah, it was one of its kind. And usually, a one of its kind will last forever.
Really does. I say 85 minutes because actually whenever I watch the movie, I don't pay attention to time. So it's like, I've never had a moment when I'm watching Transformers movie like this. Yeah, it's never been like that. That's how good of a movie it was.
What is it, the 40th anniversary?
Next year will.
Next year.
Next year is the 40th anniversary of Transformers.
So I was 12 when I did it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Does anyone else have any questions? So last one.
Hi. Being the first predominant female character in Transformers and being in the movie, did you have any feelings towards there not being a figure of your character being produced? Or was it something you didn't pay much mind to because Arcee hadn't had a figure made for so many years after she was established as a character?
I was going to say, I was going to do a swear word there, and I won't. I was mad. It's the word for mad. I was off. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they didn't have a character. So when they finally did, I was so excited about it. I have different little, Arcees in the house. Not a lot of them, but yeah, I'm so glad that people walk up to me now and I can sign my character. When did they first make it?
It's complicated.
You get a toy if you can name it.
The first official release was Energon.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that wasn't the original RC though.
No, yeah, but I mean as far as overall.
Like the first time the original RC got a toy was at BotCon 2001, but it was just a spider toy instead. It was a recolor.
It was ridiculous.
I'll answer that now. So it was, I believe, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was HasCon 27, when was HasCon? I want to say 2017. Because that was the one, it was considered a masterpiece figure. That was the real one, I would say.
Wasn't that 2015?
Was it 2015? No, actually it was around 2014.
Generations toy was 2014.
Was it 2016?
Right.
It was when, the year before, RC was invited into the Hall of Fame.
It was a type
And then the next year, I was invited into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
So,
Right. Only reason why I say that is because that's the one that I got. And I was like, okay, this is RC. And then you were there. You were there
Yeah.
last time. And then that's when I got assigned. I think that's when I was So, yeah, I think that was it. And no one has any more questions, and I think we're at that time.
are we all pooped out?
We are all I wouldn't say that.
No. The day is young.
Y'all ain't cooped out yet, are you? We still got 2 more days, right?
Yeah, yeah, I can't wait to see everybody again.
All right, let's give it up for Sue Blue. It is that time.
Okay.
It's raffle time. Get them tickets out. Let's see who's gonna take this one.
Am I gonna pick it?
You're gonna pick it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Can't see the ticket.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Woo! Put that back in there.
All right, let me do that real quick. I'm not seeing them either. Sue's not gonna see it either.
Nope. Okay, are you ready? Got your tickets out?
Mm-hmm.
5, 8, 9, 1, 1, 3. Is that
All
true?
right. Congratulations. You are the winner of a Go-Go Park Hall. Which one would you like? Gonna take Bumblebee? Everybody wants Bumblebee. Yeah. All right, congratulations. And I'll take those. And we're gonna do a photo op with both of you. And let me grab mine.
Gotta take my glasses off for this one.
All righty. Thank you, Sue. No, it's one.
It's just one.
Yeah, it's just one per guest.
Thank
So,
you, everybody.
So Sue has a booth out here where the voice actors are. Feel free to go visit her, and she's gonna have photos.
Yeah.
Do all kinds of things. Have conversations with you. You know, just make sure you go visit Sue. All right. Thanks, everyone. The next panel, you want to come to the next panel, just go back to the front. You can throw your tickets away.